What's up, my people? You pulled up hungry, and I kept it warm for you. I hope you wore something stretchy because we are traveling to Jamaica. We are making Rasta Pasta tonight. Nice, creamy, with a slight kick. First, we're going to start off cutting up our veggies. Now, we have 3 types of peppers. We got orange, red, and green. Really, it's supposed to be yellow, the colors. But I can only find orange, so that's what we're going to do. Now, you're going to cut up your onions, and you're going to cut up your peppers, and they're going to be cut thick. No small cutting this time. Mhm. So you're going to cut them up nice and thick because you want that to go into the forkful. Have a pasta, an onion, a pepper, and your meat. Now this Rasta pasta is very special because I am using 4 kind of meats, as you will see. Comment down below if you had Rasta pasta with 4 different types of meat in it. If not, you've seen it here first. So you're going to cut your peppers long ways just like that. Because remember, they are going to cook down. So just cut them up like that. Now for the green pepper, we're going to cut that up just how we cut our red peppers. Okay? Make sure you don't cut your nails. I have to cut mine, but not that way. Almost cut my nail. Be careful. And lastly, the orange pepper. Cut that the same way. Now, like I was saying, you're really supposed to have a yellow pepper because of the Jamaican colors. I couldn't find the yellow pepper. And here we are with our first meat. Beef sausage. Yes. We're going to cut that up into little pieces. All right. So I'm cut these little circle pieces in half. Okay. As I'm about to show you. Stack them up. Cut them on down. Boop. There we go. And that's what they should look like. And then you put them off to the side. Let's cut up the rest of this beef sausage. Now, here's our second meat. Shrimp. We're going to season that up like we usually do. Nothing really special. Just the same old seasoning that we always use. Well, we're going to put in our jerk seasoning. Of course, duh. It wouldn't be Rasta pasta without any jerk seasoning. Now, there's other seasonings that you can use, but remember, I'm also cooking for my family, and my younger children don't really like things that are super spicy. So I'm cooking with them in mind. But if it's you, make sure you get all the rest of the seasoning. It's like jerk seasoning and some other type of seasoning. Don't get me lying. Yep, so we're going to go in with that onion powder, pepper, Then we're gonna go in there with our garlic powder. Throw that on up in there. And let's get our hands ready to do some mixing. Mix it up right. That is what your hands are used for. Some good mixing. And you're going to mix it up, and then we're also going to put this to the side and get to working on our third meat. Comment down below if you can guess what third meat is. You guessed it. Chicken breast. So far we got beef sausages, we got some shrimp, and we got chicken. Can anybody guess what the fourth meat is? Comment down below. And we're just going to season up this chicken like we always do. The only thing that's different is we're going to put some jerk seasoning up on there. Okay. Kicking chicken. Gotta add that kick. And that is the last of my pepper. You know what that is. And adobo. Remember, adobo is your salt. Okay? So you wouldn't add any extra salt. Mix, mix, mix. Make sure all your chicken is coated with that seasoning. You don't want half of the chicken not coated and then the other half coated. Uneven taste. You don't want that. That is what we are looking for. Nice and seasoned. Now, here is the fourth meat. Did anybody guess it? Yes, steak. So now we're going to cut them up into little slices, however you want. I like mine's long ways. And I don't know about y'all, but while I'm washing my steak, I literally cut off every inch of fat on there. I know some people may keep it on there, extra flavor. Not me. I cut off every single piece of fat. So if you are a person that likes the fat on your meat, go ahead right ahead and leave it on there. Me, I season up my meat pretty good, in my opinion, to where I don't need the fat. And I hate chewing in a piece of meat and I'm chewing for 25 minutes. Okay? So I cut all the fat off of my meat. Same thing with my chicken. There's no fat on my chicken. And a lot of people do say that, I end up wasting a lot of my meat, but that's okay. I don't want no fat on mine. So the longer pieces of steak like this, that way it's not too uneven, I'm just going to cut in half, as you see here. Just the longer pieces, you know what I'm saying? And at the end, it stretches it a little bit more. Now you have more steak. And now we're going to gather it all up to season it all up. And we're going to season it the same way. Okay? We're going to have our pepper, our red wine vinegar, garlic, onion powder, adobo, and that jerk seasoning. Okay, and then we're just going to mix it all around. Make sure each piece of meat is covered in that seasoning goodness. Now to our water. Now, like you know, I season up my water for the pasta as well. I don't know who would want just plain old regular water pasta, but not me. So I put some chicken bouillon in there and a little bit of salt, okay? Because chicken bouillon is pretty salty, okay? But this way you get the perfect amount of taste, so it doesn't come out salty. So we're going to mix that around and get this water ready for these noodles, okay? Now here's our butter. You know what that's for, don't you? We're starting off the shrimp. So we're going to melt that butter down. And we're going to put in a little bit of minced garlic up in there. You know, extra flavor. And then we're going to put our shrimp. Okay? And we're going to turn the fire low, because we don't want our shrimp to overcook while we're cooking the other meat. Okay? So we're going to move that to the side on a low fire. Okay? Mix that all around. And make sure that seasoning and all that flavor gets into that butter, because we're going to be using that to pour on the pasta as well. All right, and there is our sausages. We're going to cook the sausages first, and I like to then add the meat after I cook the sausages, definitely for extra flavor. Water is ready. Let's pour that pasta up in there. I'm using penne pasta noodles. You can choose whatever pasta you want. I'm sure it'll come out tasting just as fine with spaghetti or elbow noodles or the bow tie noodles. You can try those. That's what we want our sausage to look like. Okay, so we're going to pour that out and put it in a bowl and add our steak. And like I said, I didn't clean out the pot for the steak because that's just extra flavor. Who don't want that? And now we're going to do the same thing with our steak. We're going to move that to the side. Fire low, because we want it to tenderize as well. We don't want no tough steak in our Rasta Pasta now, okay? Now we're going to start with the chicken, and I left the chicken tenderloins pretty big, you know, their normal size, because it adds texture to the pasta. You know what I'm saying? Look how that's cooking up. And in my opinion, that color is fire. All right, our noodles is ready, so let's drain them on out. And then we're going to cover them up with a lid just to keep them warm while we finish up the meat. Now this pan that I am cooking this chicken in is the same pan that I'm going to use to cook and season the sauce. Okay. Steak is just about done. Looking good. Give that a little stir. Make sure it's not sticking to the bottom of the pan. And it's looking like our chicken is done. So like I said, I'm going to start to remove it. Check the sides. And gonna get started on this Rasta Pasta sauce. So now we're going to add our peppers and our onions in first. Get them all flavored up and buttered up. Mix it around. Make sure they're all covered too. They need some flavor and some color. Okay, so this is where we're going to add some more seasoning, some pepper, garlic, onion powder, and some more jerk seasoning. All right, and then we're going to add a stick of butter. And we're going to let that cook down for a little bit before we add anything else, okay? So that's what you're going to see right now. And jerk seasoning. You could also use them on wings too. Don't sleep on them little seasoning packs at Walmart. They definitely come through with your wings. All right, we're going to mix all that goodness up in there, and then we're going to add our butter. All right, and then we're going to stir that up. And when the butter completely melts, that is when we are going to add our heavy whipping cream to get this sauce going, okay? Comment down below. Can you eat this right now? I can. It's just something about seasoned peppers that is just so good. All right, here's our heavy whipping cream. I'm going to pour that in there. I use the whole thing. So if you're cooking for anybody, a much bigger family or guest, adjust your measurements. Use another one. But for me, only one is good for me and my family. So we're going to mix that all around, get that going, and then we're going to let that simmer on the pot. Okay, we're going to let that sauce thicken up. It's too watery right now. We can't do nothing with it. All right, so we're going to go back and constantly stir it while it's simmering so it doesn't stick to the pan or burn. Okay, so this is what you want to see. You want to see all of that cooking. Now we're going to stir that all up. Okay, and now you can see it's starting to thicken up. Okay. So just stir it all around. Make sure all them seasonings get up in there. All right. Now look at that. That's exactly what we want. Mm, mm, mm. Now it's time to add our meat. There goes the sausages. There goes the chicken and the steak. At the end, I had put everything just together, or just the chicken and the steak in that pan. Because I don't know about you, but I try to clean as I go. Less mess. All right, now we're going to stir those 4 meats together. 3 meats, excuse me. I didn't add the shrimp to this mixture because I have children that is allergic to shellfish. So I add that to our plates instead of the mixture. Okay. So now I'm putting in the noodles that we're going to stir into this sauce. And then we're going to add some cheese. And I'm using, well, one of my favorites. I like the triple cheese. I also like to use Colby Jack, but this time I'm using a triple cheese and some mozzarella cheese. Here you can choose whatever cheese you like. No judgment here. Yep, so we're going to stir that around. There we go. Triple cheddar. Once you get all of that noodles and everything covered up in that sauce, here's another thickening agent. All right, cheese. And we're going to put that on there and stir it all up. Okay, till it's nice and melted and creamy. Everybody loves a little bit of cream. Comment down below if you would put more cheese or not. Let me know. This one is already a creamy dish, so I wouldn't overdo it with the cheese. So we're going to mix that all in. Look at that coming together. All different types of flavors. Now just imagine when I put that shrimp on top. And you can see that cheese pool. Look at that. I know you want a bite. Now it's time to plate it on up. Alrighty, so we're going to plate it nice and neat, all on this beautiful plate of mine. And I'm going to add some garlic bread to the side. Okay. Yes, look at that. And you know what I noticed too? None of the green peppers actually showed up here, which was really weird, but okay. It still turned out good. All right. So make sure you comment down below. Tag me if you try this and make this recipe. Okay. Let me know how it came out for you and your family. And there goes that shrimp. Look, yep. See, that shrimp came out good. All right. Okay? And thank you for being a part of this. And next time, bring somebody with you. All right?